Welcome back to the channel. This is Trinity Storm and you are watching 5th part of What If Naruto Was the Saiyan of Unknown Breed. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe to the channel. Now wasting no more time, let's start the story.
Bardock and Gohan were looking at each other as their energy continued to flare with power and the ground started to crack. Wow, Bardock is now glowing red. How is he doing that? Asked Zeno, who was very excited. The Grand Minister replied, "It looks like Bardock has turned into what is called a Super Saiyan God, which has the power of a god. This energy. It can't be." Sidra said with a shocked look on her face. "It's amazing that a normal person has the power of a god," Arik said with a little bit of interest. How is that possible?" asked Ramon, who was sweating and nervous about the power from Universe Zero. Hella said, well. The warriors of Universe Zero are always full of surprises. Margarita said, "Well, this just got more interesting." She asked her master, "What do you think, Belmod-sama?" She was surprised when he didn't answer because he was looking at Bardock with a rare serious face. Champa, who was sweating bullets, yelled, "That's not possible. How can another Saiyan have the power of a god?" Universe 7 talked to each other while the other gods talked. Beerus asked, "How can Bardock become a Super Saiyan god?" Whis looked at Naruto and said, "I'm just as confused as you are, my lord." Naruto looked at him and gave a quick fox grin before turning back to the battle. He said with a small smile, "But I think Naruto has something to do with it." Goku looked down at his son and knew that this would be a real test of his strength. He hoped that his son wouldn't underestimate Bardock because Goku knew how powerful the Super Saiyan God energy is. The two Saiyans went in a circle and took their positions. Both moved slowly toward each other, kept their eyes on each other, and waited to see who would attack first. Bardock's red eyes showed he was calm and ready. Gohan's dark eyes got smaller as he realized he was too ready. Both men were full of energy, and when they both threw a right punch at the same time, it connected and sent out a shockwave. Both of them kept going with a blur of punches that hit each other and made ki spark with each hit. Gohan was avoiding Bardock's kicks, but as he dodged a 360-degree kick, he almost got hit by his tail. Luckily, he backflipped away and only got a scratch on his cheek. Bardock came up behind him and kicked, but he was caught and thrown into the air. Gohan then came up behind him and tried to punch, but his grandfather blocked it with his left forearm. His grandfather then hit back with a knee, but Gohan did the same thing, and they both started throwing knees at each other quickly and making sparks. Both of them fired their ki at the same time, pushing each other back. Shin was amazed that Gohan was still able to hold his own. "For now, yes," the older Kai said, "but I have a feeling Bardock is holding back. If I had to guess, I'd say he's seeing how strong Gohan is." Both of them disappeared and reappeared all over the place, punching and kicking each other. Each blow from each man made the ground shake a little. Gohan faked a left kick, which his grandfather fell for. He then tried a fast right kick, but it was caught. He was then elbowed in the stomach, which knocked the air out of him, and hit with a corkscrew kick, which knocked him down. He got back up after falling down and looked up at Bardock. "It looks like Super Saiyan God is quick. Dad used it to fight Lord Beerus, so I guess I shouldn't be surprised." Bardock floated back to the arena and landed on the other side of Gohan. He said, "I hope you're not tired yet." Gohan let out a small laugh. He yelled, "No way. Let's keep going," and flared his Ki, which made Bardock smile as he flared his God Ki as well. Both flew back toward each other and started fighting again, throwing fast punches at each other. Zeno was amazed by what both men had done so far. Naruto said, "I'm amazed that Gohan can keep up with Bardock's Super Saiyan God form." "Yes, but for how long will Bardock only use a quarter of his power?" asked Kagaya. "Well, at least that's something," Hagora said. Bardock switched from punches to kicks, which Gohan blocked from medium and high for a few seconds. Then, Bardock changed things up and threw repeated right kicks to the body, which Gohan again blocked, until he faked one that Gohan fell for and kicked him hard in the face, knocking him back as he shook his head to clear it. Bardock faked a high kick and then quickly axe kicked Gohan's right leg hard, sending him back. He was then kicked hard in the chin, which also sent him back. Bardock suddenly appeared in front of him and threw a punch that was easy to avoid. He was hit in the stomach and kicked in the right leg. In response, he kicked Gohan in the face, which sent him running away. He started to fall backwards, but he stopped and looked at Bardock, who was flying through the air and kicking the ground with his axe. Bardock threw left and right punches, then elbows that would have hit Gohan on the side of the head if he hadn't been ready. He was then pulled forward as Bardock grabbed the back of his head and started throwing fast, repeated knees that were blocked. Breaking apart, Gohan threw a right kick that was blocked and landed a punch to the face, but the veteran Saiyan shook it off like it was nothing and gave 2 punches to the body before pulling the back of Gohan's head closer to him and again throwing repeated knees that were blocked, but the 6th one broke through and hit Gohan in the nose, sending him back. He got his balance back and was panting a little. Little drops of blood were running down his nose, which he wiped away with the back of his hand, which made his lower mouth look a little dirty. Both flew up and fought in the air. They were both thinking about the same thing. On the attack, Gohan swarmed Bardock with quick lefts and rights, but they were all blocked. He was knocked back by a knee, but he didn't see the fast elbow that hit him hard on the side of the head. Gohan came up behind Bardock and kicked him in the back, sending him into a column. Bardock caught himself, used his momentum to get higher in the air, and fired a series of ki blasts down at Gohan, who was trying to avoid each one. He decided to try out the new move he had been practicing. Gohan dodged a blast and used the tips of his index and middle fingers to charge up a small blue ball of energy. He yelled and shot the blue spiral energy beam at Bardock. It exploded, sending out a wave of energy that shook the area. Sugoi! Zeno yelled in joy. Wow, I've never seen Gohan use that attack before, Goku said when he saw his oldest son use it. Shin asked the older Kai, what do you think so far, ancestor? Elder Kai said, Gohan doesn't seem to have lost his power, and he's doing well against Bardock's Super Saiyan God form. Whis said, that might be true, but I can tell that Bardock is only using a quarter of his real strength. Beerus said, there's no doubt that Bardock will start to get serious now. All of a sudden, the smoke was blown away, clearing the air, and Bardock, who was still standing, could be seen. Only the right side of his armor and a few scratches on him were damaged, but he quickly got better because of his God Ki ability. He stuck out his neck and looked very serious. Gohan was ready as he sped toward his grandson, but as soon as the veteran was a few inches away, he disappeared. He quickly turned around and tried to block a punch coming at him, but it was too fast for him and hit him in the face, knocking him back. Now it was Bardock's turn to attack. He swarmed Gohan with a flurry of punches, which Gohan tried to block as best he could. But eventually, Gohan's defenses broke, and he felt the solid punches all over his body and a final one to the face, which sent him crashing to the ground with a loud crash and a cloud of smoke. Dozens of ki fired smoke at the Super Saiyan God, who easily avoided them. Gohan flew quickly and got behind Bardock. He tried to kick him, but Bardock caught it and smiled. You're going to have to do better than that, he said as he punched Gohan hard in the chest, making him cough up spit and sending him flying back into a pillar, which broke and crashed to the ground, making a rumble and filling the air with debris. Universe 7 drew back in fear when Gohan hit the ground. Shin was worried about his friend Gohan and said, this doesn't look good for Gohan. Elder Kai told Whis-sama, you were right. Bardock has been holding back the whole time and only seemed to be testing Gohan's power. Whis said, even with Gohan's new power, I don't think he can beat Bardock's Super Saiyan God form. Goku didn't think that was true. Gohan has been in tight spots before, but he has always been able to get out of them. Gohan, you can do it, they told him. When the dust settled, Gohan was on his feet, but his GI was torn diagonally, leaving half of his chest exposed. He was breathing hard, and sweat was dripping from his forehead. So Bardock has been quiet the whole time. What hope do I have if this is half the power of a Super Saiyan God? Even though I've awakened my potential power again, it's still not enough. Gohan was getting angry and losing hope. He had a brief image of Pan being held by his wife Vital, which made his eyes widen. He made a tight fist. No. Gohan let out a loud scream as his mystic energy started to form around his body. It was growing quickly, but it wasn't enough. He wasn't going to give up though. Hey, I can do this, he said to himself. Even the pillars in the arena started to shake and crack. Universes 0, 7, and 9 were just as surprised as Universe 7 when they saw a gold aura mixing with Gohan's magical energy. Shin asked, Ancestor, what's going on? Because he didn't understand what was happening with Gohan. The Elder Kai's eyes grew wider as he focused on the gold aura. He immediately knew what it was and was shocked. That kid is actually doing it. He said out loud, getting everyone's attention. Kibito asked, "Sir, what is it?" Elder Kai said, "If this actually works, Gohan can turn this fight around." Beerus was tired of the delay. "Just tell us now, old fossil," he shouted, but not loud enough to stop the fight. Elder Kai was scared and told Beerus he was sorry. "Yes, I'm sorry, my lord. What Gohan is trying to do is combine his Super Saiyan energy with his potential power, which I never thought was possible." Whis saw this and was amazed by it. Gohan's strength is almost as strong as Bardock's. Goku cheered for his son Gohan, saying, "Go for it, Gohan. You can do it." "I didn't see this coming," Naruto said as he was amazed by how quickly the son of his rival's power was growing. Bardock could feel his grandson's power rising and see the golden energy mixing with his mystic form. Gohan kept going, and he felt something. Nearly there. In a flash, he saw his daughter in his mind. With a final, loud cry, the arena was blinded by a bright gold light and mystic energy. As the light faded, it turned out to be Gohan, who looked the same except that his eyes were green like a Super Saiyan's. His muscles were firm and easy to see, but what really stood out was the gold, jagged, fierce flame-like energy that surrounded his mystic power. A few arcs of white lightning flowed over his body, and each one sounded like a small bomb going off. Just like a Super Saiyan 2, Gohan's face had turned serious. Universe 7 Kais were amazed by what Gohan had done, and Goku was smiling widely. Beerus and Whis were shocked by how powerful Goku's son had become. Gohan looked at his grandfather, then disappeared. Bardock quickly turned around to punch, but Gohan stopped him with a knee to the gut, which made the veteran spit out saliva. The Saiyan gasped in pain when an elbow hit the back of his neck, and then he was kicked in the face, sending him flying into a pillar, which then fell on him. "Wow, Gohan has gotten stronger," yelled Grand Zeno. "Yes, he does, my lord," said the Grand Minister. "Gohan now has a power that can match that of a god." Gohan floated back down to the arena. He knew that Bardock was still awake and that it would take a lot more than that to knock him out. Not long after, he burst out of the rubble with more power. The blow to his armor cracked it. He wiped away the blood that dripped from the corner of his mouth. Bardock gave Gohan a grin and looked at him. Both of them hit each other again, and Gohan dodged a series of punches and kicks. When he saw a punch coming at him, he blocked it with his left forearm and hit Bardock in the side of the face with a fast elbow, which stunned him. Gohan took advantage of this and gave Bardock a couple of solid blows to the stomach and then a front-rising kick to the chin. This sent Bardock flying into the air, where Gohan hit him with an axe handle. Bardock tried to protect himself, but the force was still enough to knock him down. Gohan came up from behind him and hit the Saiyan god in the chin with a solid uppercut, sending him flying high into the air. Gohan put his hands together in the air and made a gold key. "Masenko!" he yelled, and he fired the now big key wave straight at Bardock. Bardock saw what he was doing and put his arm in an X-guard, which caused a big explosion. For a few minutes, smoke filled the air. When it went away, a hurt Bardock could be seen. His armor was broken, the left leg of his combat pants was torn halfway, and blood dripped from the red bandana onto his forehead, which he wiped away. Bardock could feel his Super Saiyan God energy going away, so he knew he didn't have much time. "I need to get this done quickly. Gohan, you really are my grandson." He clenched his fist and yelled as the God Ki around his body grew much bigger and the area shook. Naruto said, "Looks like Bardock is going all out." Kagaya added, "Which means his Super Saiyan God power is almost at its limit." Hagora looked at Gohan, who had a flickering gold aura. "It looks like Bardock isn't the only one nearing his limit," he said. Beerus said, "Who would have thought that Goku's kid could match up with Bardock's Super Saiyan God form?" "Yes, my lord, this is son Gohan's first time using his new power, but he seems to have good control of it, not fully, but to an impressive degree," Whis said. When Gohan felt his power fading, he was in the same place as Bardock. "I don't have much time, I have to make this last," thought the Saiyan hybrid as the gold and light energy got stronger. Elder Kai said, "Both of them are almost at their limits and are gathering every last bit of strength for the end." Both fighters' auras were now wilder and more intense than ever. Gohan flew quickly up towards Bardock, and Bardock followed him down with the same goal. They both pulled their fists back and hit each other, which caused a big shake. Both warriors disappeared and reappeared all over the arena, trading lightning-fast attacks that made a small shockwave. The fight made Zeno very happy. He kept saying, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa," as he followed the two fighters all over the sky. Bardock hit Gohan in the face with a right punch, but Gohan didn't care and kept attacking until he hit Bardock in the chin with a left hook. Bardock did the same thing and kept attacking. Neither of them had gone up or stopped for a moment. When Bardock blocked Gohan's right kick, he hit him in the throat, which made Gohan hold his breath and gag. A hand grabbed his face, and he was pulled quickly across the arena, leaving a trail of destruction. Bardock lifted Gohan up while still holding his face, then turned around and threw him forward at a very fast speed. He moved quickly forward until he was on the other side of the arena. He clenched his right fist, which had a sun-red aura around it. He pulled his arm back and threw the punch, but to his surprise, so did Gohan. Gohan's fist was also covered in an aura, but it was a mix of his Super Saiyan and mystic energy. Both of them hit each other, making a loud boom and sending a blast of wind all around. The force of the collision made a crater under them. Both kept going, and neither of them stopped. Gohan got the upper hand and stopped the attack that was hitting Bardock in the chest. This made Bardock fly back and skip across the arena before he got back on his feet. With their powers starting to fade, both Saiyans were starting to pant a little. They agreed that it was time to stop. Gohan got in position and cupped his hands behind him, making a white, see-through orb with gold lightning crackling around it. Bardock put out his right hand, and a big ball of red energy formed. Then, to Goku's surprise, Bardock put his other hand on top of the big red energy ball and took a familiar stance. Goku was shocked and said, "No way is he going to." Whis said, "Oh my. So that's what Bardock's been working on," Naruto said, knowing that the Saiyan had been alone for a few days and was, as he put it, training. Broly watched the fight with his eyes wide open. Both men had built up all of their energy to the max. Gohan was surrounded by lightning, and Bardock's aura looked like hot flames. Mystic. Riot. At the same time, they shouted, "Kamehameha!" and fired their blast by putting their hands out. A blue ki wave surrounded by yellow lightning tore through the arena, as did a red-gold ki wave that soon met its opposite. When they met, they pushed back and forth, making a beam of light. Except for their own gods and angels, everyone in Universes 7, 9 and 0 had to close their eyes because the light was so bright. Incredible, they're both just as strong," said a stunned Kibito. Elder Kai said, "It all comes down to this." Both blue and red energy were trying to get the upper hand. Gohan clenched his teeth and fought to hold on as sweat ran down the side of his face. Bardock was in the same situation, but he didn't know it because his god powers were going away. "Power seal release!" he shouted. His body lit up blue for a second, and his attacks became twice as strong as Gohan's. As he was being pushed, the hybrid Saiyan clenched his teeth and tried hard to stop the attack. "I hope this works," he said. "Kaioken!" he yelled as a hot red aura wrapped around his body. His attack also became twice as strong, making them again the same strength. "Oh my, this is a surprise." Whis was amazed. Goku was shocked and said, "The Kaioken technique." Elder Kai said, "Gohan's power has once again grown a lot because of it. We'll just have to see if it's enough." Each second, the fight between the two energies got worse, and neither side would back down. At the last second, both men let out a loud shout as they put all of their strength into this attack, which caused a bright explosion that filled the arena. Everyone from Universes 0, 7, and 9 covered their eyes, except for the gods and angels, because the light was so bright. As the light faded, it showed that the air was filled with smoke. Once it was done, the arena looked like it was in bad shape and might fall apart, but what stood out was the deep, huge crater. Goku and the others stood up and tried to see what was going on below. From the crater, a hand shot up and picked itself up. Slowly, it became clear that the person panting was Bardock. The bottom of his pants were torn, blood dripped from the corner of his mouth, and his bandana was torn off the side of his head. But he wasn't by himself. Gohan, whose top GI was torn and had bruises but was still alive, was sitting on his shoulder. Universe 9 was shocked by how strong the warriors of Universes 7 and 0 were. The Grand Priest floated down as the second match came to an end. With the second match, the winner goes to Bardock of Universe 0, said the Grand Priest. When the end came, a gong rang. Zeno was excited about the match and said, "Ew." Shin said with worry, "Once again, Universe 0 wins." The Elder Kai said, "It's amazing how strong they are. There's no doubt that the tournament will be harder if they take part." Goku flew down and landed in front of his father. His father then gave Goku his son. Bardock said to his son with a small, tired smile, "He's strong." Goku picked up Gohan and looked down at him with a small smile of pride. "Yeah, he is," he said. He took out a senzu bean and gave one to his father. Then, as he laid Gohan down, he gave one to Gohan. After a few seconds, he woke up and thought he saw his father, but it was actually Bardock. He gave a weak smile and said, "I guess I lost." Both his father and son could hear the slight disappointment in his voice. Goku told Gohan, "You have nothing to be ashamed of. You fought my dad, who was a Super Saiyan god, and you held your own. You made me very proud, son." Gohan slowly got back on his feet in front of his grandfather as Bardock told him, "Stand up." Once they were close, the hybrid was scared because Bardock was looking at him with a serious face. But that fear went away when Bardock gave him a small smile and put a hand on his shoulder. He told him, "Kid, you gave me a tough match. I expect you to get stronger before the tournament starts," and then he turned and walked away. Gohan looked at his grandfather's back and felt something he hadn't felt in years, ever since he stopped fighting. Strong will. Goku saw that his son was looking like that. The same look he had when he realized what he was capable of. This made him smile, and he was happy that his son had found his fighting spirit again. As they flew back to their group, he said, "Come on, let's go back to the others." Bardock went back to his team. Naruto said, "I'll admit that I thought you were going to lose. I won't lie, I thought so too, but I would have lost for sure if I hadn't broken the power seal you put on me," Bardock said. "Still, that Kaioken caught me off guard, and I almost didn't make it." "Before we move on to the final match, I have a message from Zeno-sama," the Grand Priest said, and everyone listened. The same as in anime. Even the Kais were surprised to hear that every universe except 1, 12, 5, and 8 would fight in the Tournament of Power. If a universe lost, it would be wiped out, and only one would remain. Naruto just dropped his jaw and looked at Kagaya. Kagaya, how high are we?" he asked with worry. Kagaya frowned as she looked at her scepter. "Not good. It was 2.0 before you ended that war, but now it's 2.50, which is still not enough." She said it would make Naruto pale. "My lord, I don't know what will happen to us gods." He asked the Elder Kai with care. "Of course, you will all disappear at the same time, except for the angels." Beerus went crazy when he saw Whis. "What? You?" This made Whis laugh. "I'm sorry, my lord, but my position is different from yours." Vados. "You also." Champa went crazy when she saw the beautiful angel grin. "If that's the case, I might be able to find a much better god if he lives," she said with a look at Naruto, who was too shocked to see her. "Kagaya?" he whispered, but she couldn't look at him because she knew he was hurt. That's all for the announcements. Let's move on to the third and last game. The arena was quickly fixed when the Grand Priest snapped his finger. Goku was excited. "Now it's my turn," he said with a sense of excitement. "Dad," Goku said, and Gohan bumped his fist and said, "Good luck." His father gave him a smile and a bump with his fist. As he walked along the edge, he looked back at Naruto, who was doing the same thing. Both of them could feel their blood pumping with excitement because they were about to fight again. Together with the last Beast Warrior from Universe 9, they floated down to the arena. "Looks like we'll get to have that rematch, Goku, because I'm not holding back," Naruto told the Earth Saiyan, who was grinning and looking for a challenge. "Good, because it wouldn't be much of a rematch if you held back," says Goku. This made Bergamo angry, so he yelled, "Shut up, you scums," was said, which caught the two by surprise. Naruto's eyes got narrow, and Goku looked confused. Bergamo then turned around and looked at all the God Kais and angels. He started to rant about how Universes 7 and 0 were below Universe 9 and that they could have lived in peace if they hadn't made such a stupid wish. Goku didn't like how Bergamo treated him badly, but Naruto was furious about what the stupid beast called his universe. But he knows what he wants to do. He laughed to himself, which got Goku and Bergamo's attention. Then he laughed out loud, making everyone look at him like he was crazy. "What's the joke?" the animal growled. Naruto's laughter died down slowly, and when he was ready to talk again, he wiped a tear from his eye and did so. "I know what you're going for." Bergamo and Goku were both thrown off by this. "I'm trying to trick everyone here in order to make friends with them." Naruto was hurt. "Nani?" Bergamo was angry and asked. "You're so scared to see how strong I and Goku are because you saw how our best warriors fought and you know you'll lose at the Tournament of Power. You would come up with any reason to cancel the tournament, even if it was to blame the gods and angels." Naruto's ending made the gods' eyes widen and made him angry at Bergamo and Universe 9, which made them want to shrink. Bergamo was so nervous that he was shivering, and sweat was dripping from his forehead. "Zeno-sama, what's your decision?" He was the Grand Priest. Zeno thought about Bergamo's idea and then about what Naruto had said. "I've made my decision." Everyone tensed up when he said it. "Your idea is turned down." Zeno said this without any feeling. Universe 9 Kai passed out and Bergamo's jaw dropped when he saw this. "Zeno-sama's word is final," says the Grand Priest. Beerus groaned. "I'd rather not be erased, but that Universe 9 has a lot of nerve to make us their enemies." "That's right, my lord, but Naruto seems to have dealt with something similar before," said Whis. Naruto was warming up. He clasped his hands together and popped them while flexing his muscles. Then, he spread his arms a little and popped his hands again while making a fist. He punched to the left and right. Once he was warmed up, he looked at Goku, who was stretching his legs before doing his arms and back. He jumped around for a few seconds and then stopped. He looked at Naruto and then at Bergamo. He took his position and gave a small smirk. Bergamo didn't look nervous, but he was. He looked at the two fighters and felt his heart beat faster. There was silence for a short time. "Now start the third game." As a gong rang out, the Grand Priest spoke. The three men moved away from each other quickly. Bergamo kicked at Goku, but Goku blocked it and pushed him back. When Bergamo quickly turned around, Naruto kicked him in the face. At the last second, Naruto dove out of the way of a punch, which went over his head. He quickly turned around and punched Bergamo in the face. He went back to Goku as the two of them threw fast punches at each other, but it was clear that the majestic Saiyan was faster because each punch hit Goku in the face or body. Goku put up his guard to block Naruto's quick punches, but Bergamo stopped them when he tried to kick both of them, but they caught it. "You're getting in the way." They said the same thing at the same time and gave him a hard punch to the face, which sent him flying back. Goku and Naruto went back to fighting. The Saiyan shinobi kept throwing fast punches that Goku and Naruto were blocking or avoiding. Goku, who was only a few inches away, dodged a fast left hook, then a right and a left uppercut. The orange-clad Saiyan fought back with a punch, but Naruto caught it and threw him over his shoulder. Goku landed on his feet and was half backwards, but not for long. Naruto picked him up from his front hip and threw him backwards, making him land on his knees. Naruto kept throwing knees that Goku blocked, but one got through and hit the side of his face. This sent Goku back, but not before he hit Naruto in the throat with a punch, which surprised him and sent him back. Both fell back far, but they both stayed on their feet. Both Saiyans looked at each other as they rubbed the spot where they had been hit. When they turned around, they heard someone coming up behind them. It was Bergamo, who looked angry. "I may have underestimated you both, but I'll show you why Bergamo the Crusher is my nickname." He laughed hard and stood up, spreading his arms wide and exposing his body. He told them, "Hit me." Goku didn't understand what was being asked of him, but Naruto's eyebrows tightened as his shinobi senses kicked in. Why would he ask for something so crazy? Dad's punches are no joke, and I think Naruto's are the same, says Gohan. Well, Bergamo teased him. Each person looked at the other. Naruto floated halfway up on his hands and knees and waved for Goku to go first. Goku took to the air and started throwing punches at Bergamo's body. Each one made a loud sound. He stopped his attack and looked back to see how much damage he had done. Bergamo was still standing, but he was a little shaken. Then, all of a sudden, a red glow appeared around the beast warrior. The punches stopped, and he started to grow. Goku didn't understand what was going on when he saw that Bergamo had grown a couple of feet taller. Bergamo's hand looked like it was getting warmer. He got on his knees and ran at Goku, throwing a punch that Goku blocked, but something was wrong because it felt 5 times as strong to Goku. As he flew up, he tried to avoid it because he knew he couldn't get hit again. He saw the damage it had done as a small crater. He flew down and tried a front flip kick, but it was blocked. He again avoided the punch as he flew backwards, then sped forward and hit Bergamo with more punches to the body, pushing him back. "Is that so?" Goku said, but again to my surprise, the punches were absorbed, and Bergamo grew much bigger. "Give me even more." He spoke more loudly. Naruto was able to figure out what Bergamo was just doing. He was just taking in the power from Goku's punches, which made him bigger and stronger. He saw Goku get hit in the body, which sent him flying back and make him land next to him. The Kai of Universe 9 laughed and bragged about Bergamo's ability to turn an enemy's attack into his own power. Naruto and Goku, who stood up, already knew this, as did Bergamo. The Saiyan smiled in a daring way. "We've only just begun." Goku turned into a Super Saiyan and flew toward his opponent. His opponent stood up and took another round of punches, which now pushed him back. As in the anime, this is canon. Goku's Kamehameha, which was made with the power of his Kaioken and SSB, filled the arena and air with smoke. Goku floated back down to the arena and changed back into a Super Saiyan once the air had cleared. Bergamo was back to his normal size and still standing. He slowly walked toward Goku and pointed at him until he fell on his face, unconscious. Universe 9 couldn't believe it when their best warrior lost. "Good job, Dad." Gohan was happy. Nothing even close to a challenge. Bardock said that Broly was impressed by the Earth Saiyan's show of power because he knew Goku already had it. That's a lot. With Super Saiyan Blue, it looks like Goku has full control of the Kaioken. Whis said to Beerus that he saw a bit of nervousness on God's face, which made the angel smile. Naruto clapped as he walked toward Goku and stopped a few feet from him. "You took too long." He said it and turned into majestic, which made the gods whisper. "Ooh, Naruto's hair is now white and glowing." Zeno was impressed. "It's called Majestic Super Saiyan, my lord." His ancestor had this power long before he did. Goku gave Naruto a challenged smile and narrowed his eyebrows. "I want to see how my Super Saiyan form compares to your majestic form," he said, taking his position. Naruto did the same. Both of them hadn't moved in a minute, but everyone could feel the huge pressure coming down from the arena as the energy began to crack more of it. Naruto was surrounded by white energy, and Goku was surrounded by gold energy. Goku suddenly attacked with a bunch of kicks that were blocked, and he fell backwards quickly to avoid a spinning heel kick. He stopped himself in the middle of his fall with his arms and jumped back up, throwing punches left and right that were again blocked, but not a kick that hit Naruto in the mouth, making him fall. He jerked his head right at Goku, who was smiling. He licked his lips and tasted the blood on the corner of his mouth from where he had been hurt. Goku flew at Naruto, who didn't move. Instead, Naruto quickly turned around, and Goku hit him in the chest with a hard kick, knocking the air out of him and sending him skidding but still on his feet. Goku winced when he felt the pain in his chest. That training method must work, because my Super Saiyan has gotten stronger, but this is just the start. Both warriors flew quickly toward each other and started their attacks with a barrage of punches and kicks that could be heard and seen all around the arena. They went their separate ways and fired multiple ki blasts at each other. Small explosions shook the area and filled the air with smoke, but it didn't last long because Goku changed into Super Saiyan 2. Naruto came out and almost landed a gut punch, but Goku blocked it. He was almost caught off guard by an overhand that almost hit the side of his head. Right away, he blocked a knee, a right elbow, and a left elbow. Naruto grabbed the back of his head and pulled him forward, then lifted a knee that was blocked. Goku broke out of the hold, but then he got a surprise elbow to the chest, which sent him back. He was hit with fast lefts and rights, which he kept blocking, and then his elbows and knees pushed him back. Goku ducked under a fast wheel kick from Naruto, which was a good thing, because a blast of air went by the Kai of Universe 9, who was shocked and slowly looked to see a pillar with a dent in it, leaving him with his mouth open. Such power from only a kick. Goku threw a kick, but it was blocked. He was then hit with a punch, and then another kick knocked him off his feet, but he got back up. Goku had a bruise on the side of his face, and blood was coming out of the corner of his mouth. He wiped the blood off with his hand. He looked up at Naruto, who smiled, which he did as well. "Okay, let's see how you deal with this." Goku yelled as his gold energy flared up around him. He kept talking as the arena and pillars started to crack, and the whole place started to shake. "It seems like Dad is stepping up his talk," says Gohan. It's surprising that Goku's Super Saiyan power has grown and that he can hold his own against Naruto's majestic form. He said, "Elder Kai. Goku has been training to become a Super Saiyan god, and this is what has happened as a result," said Whis. "Yes, I remember that even though he was just in Super when we first fought, he was still able to keep up with me." Beerus gave in. Power exploded, blinding everyone in the arena. The light faded quickly, revealing Goku in Super Saiyan 3. "You had better be ready, Naruto." Goku told Naruto up in a rough voice as lightning flashed all around him. Naruto's eyes got smaller, and he knew he had to change. He yelled as his hair became spiked and his energy flared into a fierce white aura with jagged edges. He didn't stop there, though. At the end, he yelled even louder as the fierce aura turned into a solid white glow. Goku was a little shocked by his new power, but he didn't give up. Goku didn't hesitate and flew towards Naruto when he made a "bring it" sign. Both of them threw a punch at the same time, and their blows hit each other and sent out a big shockwave. They went all over the place, punching and kicking each other over and over. Goku hit Naruto in the ribs with a knee strike, but Naruto also hit Goku in the face with a punch. Despite the damage, both fighters kept going at each other. Whoa, 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 whoa. Zeno was amazed by the way the two Saiyans were fighting back and forth. Both seemed to be about the same. Bardock told him. It's clear that Naruto-sama is in charge of speed and that Goku-sama is in charge of power. Kagaya told him. Goku's Super Saiyan 3 is much stronger than when he faced Majin Buu's final form. He has improved a lot. Shin was shocked as he watched the fight. Yes, it's pretty cool, but Naruto-sama is still holding back, and you can tell. Elder Kai told us. Naruto thought he had Goku when he hit him with a 3-punch combo to the ribs, but Goku just grabbed his punch and laughed and yelled. 4 Kaioken. Naruto was caught off guard by Goku's red energy burst. He tried to knee Goku in the gut, but Goku blocked him with his own knee. Goku then kicked him hard, sending him high into the air. He then came from above and threw an axe kick, which was blocked but still sent the majestic crashing down hard, face first onto the arena floor. Whoa, when did Dad learn Kaioken while Super Saiyan 3 was going on? Gohan was amazed by the growing strength. That Kaioken always comes through for him. We'll have to see how much it can do. Beerus told us. Naruto winced, but he kept his face straight and jumped back up. I didn't think he'd go Kaioken on me, but from what I can see, that's about it for him. He yelled as the energy around him grew stronger. He also let out a powerful roar that shook the place. It's amazing that both of these mortals have so much power, I'll give them that. Margarita said something. Belmod gave a small chuckle. There is nothing Toppo can do. He spoke. The black garment Toppo did not say anything, but he did watch the fight. Naruto's power exploded, blinding the arena again, but it went away quickly. The majestic Saiyan is now in his third form, with white energy sparks and lightning crackling around him. Goku made a funny face. He said, I was wondering when you were going to get serious. Trust me, this is just the warm-up, says Naruto. He disappeared, and Goku turned around just in time to block a knee, but a right kick to the side of his head caught him off guard and knocked him back. Goku turned around and gave Naruto a quick kick. Naruto came up from behind and caught the kick, which surprised the orange-clad Saiyan. The orange-clad Saiyan then spun around really fast and threw Goku hard into the ring. He got up on his feet. He was surprised when Naruto appeared in front of him and punched him right in the face. The punch sent him sliding across the ring, but he still stood on his feet. Because his nose was broken, blood came out of it. Goku snapped it back without flinching and wiped away the blood. The sound of the bone breaking made everyone wince. Even Super Saiyan 3 doesn't seem to be enough. I don't have full control of Kaioken with this form. I suppose I'll have to use that change. Goku dropped his guard and closed his eyes. He was surrounded by a red aura, and soon a flame-like energy surrounded him. Naruto looked down at the pillar of flaming energy that was building up. As it got smaller, it slowly went away, revealing a slightly skinny Goku with tan skin. His red hair and eyes stood out because they were the same color. Goku, who had become a Super Saiyan God, was still surrounded by fiery energy. This is his Super Saiyan God, huh? He seems to have better control than Bardock. We're going to have a real fight now. He floated back down to the arena and stopped a few feet from it. Wow, this should be a lot of fun, said Whis. Since our last fight, Goku's strength has grown a lot. Beerus replied with a small smile. Wow, this is Super Saiyan God? That's crazy. Shin was amazed because this was the first time he had ever seen it in real life. Hurry up, Dad. Gohan cheered for his dad in his mind. Naruto made a fist with his right hand and put his left hand over it. Goku moved toward Naruto and stood in front of him. He did the same thing, and both of them stood still while the crowd stood still and watched, waiting for someone to attack. A minute and a half went by. Naruto quickly threw a left kick, which Goku blocked, and then a right kick, which Goku also blocked. He tried again, this time hitting the side of Goku's leg. This was followed by a flurry of lefts and rights that Goku dodged, and then he fought back with punches that pushed Naruto back and a kick to the ribs. Naruto winced, but he didn't let the pain stop him from dodging each punch. He ducked under a right and threw a left kick that was blocked, and his opponent responded with a kick that he also blocked, then a punch, then a side kick that he avoided. He hit Goku a few times, and the orange-clad Saiyan fought back. The two kept trading blows. Naruto hit Goku with a hard punch to the face, which sent him back. He tried to hit him again, but Goku dodged it and hit him hard instead. Both men stopped and looked at each other as they got their balance back. Naruto gave a smirk. I'll have no chance against you. Not after this change. He said something that made Goku confused, but then he figured out what he was going to do. If that was the case, he hoped that his own SSG form could hold up without him having to go into SSB too soon. Let's do it. With a smile, Goku said that he was ready to fight. Naruto tightened his fists as he focused and growled as a thin layer of Kurama's chakra wrapped around him. He then gave a loud cry as the chakra changed into Ki which flared strongly around him. He growled louder as his body shook but didn't stop as the energy around him intensified, making him grit his teeth. His muscles slightly grew, his long hair changed from white to dark blonde and now had untamed spike bangs. His body was slowly covered in a white-souled energy. His iris had changed into a dark white color while around his eyes was a silver shadow trim. He suddenly threw his arms out and yelled loudly, which broke the solid energy and let out a blast of wind that made Goku cover his eyes. When the wind stopped, Goku looked to see that Naruto was no longer in MSSJ3. Now, though, he was in Majestic Super Saiyan 4. Naruto looked up at Goku, and as he did, he started to smile. What do you think? I call this Majestic Super Saiyan 4. Is that a good name? This is what happens when you combine the power of an Uzaru and a Super Saiyan, he said in a harsh voice that made Vados, her sister, and Hellas shiver and blush. No way. Not another change. Gohan was surprised by this. From what I can tell, Naruto-sama is right about this new form. It has the strength of an Uzaru and the speed and power of a Super Saiyan, but this majestic form is still unknown and powerful in different situations. He said, Elder Kai. I'd say that's very interesting, Beerus-sama. Whis gave his old student a soft smile as he looked at him. Wait, Majestic Super Saiyan 4? Beerus was a little bit interested in this new power he had found. Naruto stuck out his neck, got in his fighting stance, and gave a little smirk, showing that he was ready to fight. Goku could tell that this new form was much stronger, which meant he was in for a tough fight. He would have to fight this form until he had to go to SSB, but there was another problem. The Super Saiyan God form of Naruto. I've got to try to hold out as long as I can in this form. SSB will be the last resort. Goku took his position. Naruto sped toward Goku all of a sudden. Naruto ran at Goku so fast that the Saiyan was caught off guard. He only had time to block a flying kick, which still knocked him back and almost made him fall, but he kept his balance. He quickly looked up and saw Naruto coming at him with an axe kick. He was able to block it, but the force behind it knocked him down and made a crater under him. Naruto turned around and flew back towards Goku. Goku bent backwards to avoid another flying kick from Naruto. He dodged a sidekick and another kick that almost hit him in the face when he turned around, but Naruto still caught him off guard and hit him in the chest, knocking him back. He winced in pain but didn't show it. Naruto kept coming at Goku and hit him with a corkscrew kick, which knocked him down. As Goku got back up, Naruto went for a low kick, but Goku hit him in the chest, which pushed him back. Now it was Goku's turn to attack, but Naruto kept up and blocked each of his blows. One kick got through and hit him in the chest, knocking him back. Goku didn't stop hitting Naruto, who kept his guard up. Naruto fought back with his own punches, which Goku blocked, and then a jumping spinning kick, which Goku blocked with a backflip. Then Naruto charged again, and the two of them started trading punches and kicks, but each was blocking the other. Naruto grabbed Goku's arm and quickly threw left and right elbows that Goku blocked. However, the Earth Saiyan didn't see the knee that connected to his stomach and pushed him back. Naruto wasn't done and charged while connecting a rising knee to the chest, which would have made Goku stumble back. Naruto grabbed the back of the Saiyan's head, pulled him forward, and hit him with knees fast and often. Goku finally got out of the hold and tried to hit Majestic Saiyan with a roundhouse kick, but Majestic Saiyan flew back and landed on a column. Goku looked up and saw Naruto with a small grin on his face. "I thought this power would be about the same as your god form, so I think you should step it up." Goku smiled a little. He asked, "Are you sure about that?" But he meant it when he looked into the eyes of the Majestic Saiyan. "Alright, then," he said, and he got into his stance and started to power up as he shouted. His red ki energy was getting stronger, but it was also slowly turning green. The Saiyan kept pushing as his energy flared around him until he gave his final shout, which caused a blast of wind as his intense energy changed to blue and his hair, which was spiky like an SSJ's, turned blue as well. Beerus said, "Looks like this battle is about to get interesting." Whis told Beerus-sama, "You're right about that. It'll be interesting to see how far this majestic SSJ-4 can push Goku now that he's in his blue form." Goku looked up and locked his blue eyes on Naruto's. Both men got into their fighting positions and were ready to fight again. They flew toward each other with their energy flaring around them. When they were close enough, they both threw right punches that hit each other and sent out a small shockwave. They flew around in the air, punching each other and sending blows back and forth. When they got close again, they exchanged fast blows until Naruto swung around and hit Goku with a kick, sending him flying back. Naruto then hit Goku with another punch, sending him flying back again. Goku jumped up into the air and quickly fired a Kamehameha, but Naruto dodged it. He didn't give up and started firing blue ki blasts, but the Majestic Saiyan kept dodging them until he fired back. As he flew faster towards Goku, he hit him in the face, sending him into a column. Goku ran away when he sensed danger and just missed a punch that broke the pillar and made it fall. The two flew at each other again and hit each other with blow after blow, pushing each other back. As they disappeared and reappeared all over the arena, their speed began to pick up. There were small shockwaves all over the place. As Zeno tried to follow the two, he was amazed by the battle. "This is amazing," he yelled. The old priest smiled a little. "Zeno-sama is a lot of fun to watch." Vado said, "Both fighters showed a lot of power. I'd say they're still about even, but Naruto-sama still has the edge in terms of pure strength." Champa clenched his fist in anger. He knew that if he wanted his universe to win, he had to find some strong fighters. Naruto landed a right punch that broke through Goku's guard and hit him in the face, sending him flying backwards. As he got closer, he formed a Rasengan and was about to slam it down, but Goku did a backflip and kicked Naruto in the chin, sending him flying backwards. Goku came out of nowhere and threw an axe handle at Naruto, sending him flying into the arena. Not done yet, the Saiyan formed a Kamehameha and fired it down at Naruto, whose eyes widened and he knew he could only take it as it ate him. The whole area was shook by an explosion, and smoke filled the air. Goku looked down and had a feeling that wasn't it. When the smoke cleared, he showed Naruto that he had been scratched, but Kurama had taken care of that. Goku landed a few feet from Naruto as the two of them stared each other down. "I hope you don't regret your decision," Goku told him. Naruto gave him a small smirk and said, "Are you kidding me? This is just the beginning." They both floated up into the air and flew towards each other, trading punches or blocking them. They then threw kicks that they both blocked, but Naruto kept throwing right kicks that were pushing Goku back. Then he turned around and hit him with a straight kick to the body, sending Goku flying away but landing safely on his feet. Goku caught Naruto's punch and threw him over his shoulder, but he was surprised when the Saiyan ninja wrapped his legs around his neck, pulled his arm in between, and started to squeeze the air out of him. His eyesight was getting worse, so he had to act quickly. He then picks Naruto up and throws him high before slamming him hard into a pillar, which causes a large spider web to break. Naruto grunts, but he keeps his triangle choke on. Goku did the same thing over and over again and slammed Naruto 3 more times before flying up higher, shouting, and then falling a long way down. When the ground blew up, dust and smoke filled the air. Over the past few weeks, both Goku and Naruto have gotten better, Whis said.
Beerus said, at this rate, he'll be ready to do his job as a god soon.
Too bad Goku turned down my offer. When the smoke cleared, everyone was surprised and confused to see that Naruto had Goku in a sit-out power bomb position, and Goku didn't seem to be moving.
Gohan was shocked to see that his father used to have Naruto, but now it was the other way around. He asked, what the heck, what happened? Shin asked the older Kai, ancestor, what happened? The old Kai said, I'm not even sure myself.
Okay, that was confusing. What did he do, Vados? Asked Champa. Vados said, if I had to guess, Naruto-sama and Goku-sama switched places at the last second. Naruto had pushed Goku away as he got back on his feet and looked at the Earth Saiyan, who was still on the ground, but not for long. He was coughing hard and slowly getting up. His head was shaking like there was no tomorrow, his orange GI shirt looked torn, blood was dripping from the corner of his mouth, and he had some scratches, but he was still standing. Naruto said, thanks to a simple shinobi move, I switched with you right before the last second. He silently thanked Iruka-sensei for teaching him substitution. Goku laughed and smiled a bit. You got me pretty good, I'll give you that. Naruto said with a smile, I told you I was getting serious. Goku nodded and then looked serious as he tore off his orange GI shirt, leaving him in his blue sleeveless shirt. He said, now it's my turn to get serious, and he started to get stronger, but Naruto knew what he was doing. Kaioken. He roared, and red energy flared around him. He disappeared, and when he came back, his fist was in Naruto's stomach. Naruto hunched over and spit out saliva. He disappeared again, and when he came back, he kicked Naruto in the back. Naruto fell, but he got back up. He looked up and saw that Goku was back in the same place. This is going to be hard, he thought. He wiped his mouth and was about to start again when he heard his name. A deep voice said, Naruto. Naruto's eyes got big when he saw it, and he said in a surprised voice, Kurama, you're awake. I've been awake for a while, Kit. It looks like you're going to need my help with this one. Naruto said, you could say that, if you're up to it. I've been looking for another good fight, but I think that Saiyan attitude is getting to me, Kurama said with a snort. Naruto's sweat dropped when he heard this, but he smiled and said, let's do this. Kurama also smiled. He growled as he crossed his arms in an X-guard, and a gold aura started to form around him. Goku's eyes got smaller as the energy started to change into something that looked almost like flames. Bits of the ground started to move, and the whole place started to shake. Whis watched as he saw his old student, and as soon as he saw the chakra, he knew what to do. He gave a small smile, which Beerus saw but didn't say anything about. Instead, he turned back to the fight. Naruto threw his arms out and roared as the aura turned his hair and fur into golden flames. His arms had black tribal lines, and his chest had 6 tomo marks. From behind, 9 golden tails that looked like foxtails came out and swished around. His eyes were open to show a slit pupil. He said, I hope I didn't keep you waiting too long. Do you like the new look? It's a mix of the power of my partner and my majestic Super Saiyan 4. Goku could tell that this fight was going to move quickly. As Naruto disappeared in a yellow flash, he quickly turned around behind Naruto to give him a kick. Naruto appeared, but then disappeared, and hit the Saiyan in the stomach, which made him move back. Naruto disappeared again before showing up in front of Goku. Goku caught a punch, and the two of them fought with fast punches and kicks that either hit or were blocked. They were pushing each other back and forth, and each blow sent out shockwaves. Zeno had stars in his eyes as he watched a fight that he thinks is great. Naruto dodged a kick and grabbed the Saiyan as he turned around. He then threw him into the air and disappeared before coming back from behind and driving his knees into the back of Goku and slamming him into the ground. Goku coughed up some blood, but he quickly kicked Naruto off of him and got back on his feet. He took long, deep breaths because he knew what he had to do. Kaioken X5. He yelled. The energy around him grew stronger and stronger, and he and Naruto disappeared. Yellow and red streaks ran into each other and bounced all over the place. Gohan was shocked by how fast his dad and Naruto were moving. "This is crazy, my eyes can barely keep up with them," he said. Whis said, "This is interesting. It looks like Naruto is still a surprise." Beerus smiled arrogantly and said, "Of course, he was my student after all." Elder Kai said, "What a fight between these two. I'm sure they'll be the main targets once the tournament starts." The two went their separate ways and fired a dozen ki blasts at each other. They both tried to avoid the blasts, which lit up the arena. They went their separate ways again, and from what I could see, Goku had taken more damage than Naruto, who, thanks to his healing factor, had no damage at all. Goku thought, "Wow, even with Kaioken times 5, he still beats me. It's too soon for me to use Kaioken times 10. Naruto disappeared again in a flash and came back with a kick, but Goku flipped back high and stuck his foot up, which hit Naruto in the face as he appeared above him. The majestic Saiyan fired ki blasts from his tails, which rained down on the arena. Goku was able to dodge all of them, but Naruto came out of nowhere and hit Goku with a series of punches to the chest, which pushed him back. The Saiyan went for a low kick, but Naruto blocked it with his own kick, and then he hit Goku with a roundhouse kick, which sent him flying away. He appeared on the other side and put out his right hand, which turned into a golden energy ball. He flew towards the Earth Saiyan, but what he saw next shocked him. It wasn't that Goku was charging at him, but that he had an energy ball in his right hand that looked a lot like his Rasengan. Oh, no way. He could understand Broly, but not Goku. Both men hit each other with their energy balls. Their attacks were grinding against each other and sending out a pulse of energy that surrounded them. Red and gold hit each other. The two fighters fought hard to beat each other, but soon both of their energy balls went off, shaking the ring and filling the air with smoke. Half a minute passed by and both warriors flew out the smoke and resumed their battle as they clashed once again. Kicks and punches were bashing against one another. Naruto evaded a punch and landed one of his own to the face of Goku, who shook it off and delivered his own punch to the face, which Naruto too shook away. They both collided their punches at the same time, making a sonic boom with their energies flaring up to new heights. Goku could feel himself being pushed back, and he knew that if this attack hit, it would do a lot of damage. He had no choice but to let it happen. Kaioken X10. He roared, and the red energy flared up a lot. He started to push Naruto back, who tried to hold on. Unfortunately, Goku roared as he pushed through and landed a solid punch to his face, sending him down and into a pillar that fell on him. Gohan cheered, "Way to go, Dad." Whis said, "It looks like Goku is using Kaioken times 10 again, and it seems to be stronger than Naruto's new power." Beerus said, "We'll have to see if it's enough. Kakarot's power has just grown a lot." Bardock was shocked to see that his son had the same kind of energy that was flaring around Gohan. Broly was a little surprised by how strong Goku was. Kagaya was holding her staff a little too tightly and was a little worried about Naruto. Just then, orange beams of light shot out of the pile of rocks and exploded. The ring was covered in bright light, which slowly dimmed to reveal a solid orange energy figure that broke apart to reveal Naruto in his Super Saiyan God form. Goku floated down a few feet away from Naruto, whose aura was moving white crackles of energy. Whoa, Naruto is now glowing orange. What's going on? Asked Zeno, who was shocked by this. It looks like Naruto has used his own divine ki to become a Super Saiyan God, said the Grand Priest. Whis smiled and said, "He's done it." Beerus gave his student a big grin. "Gaki, let's see what you can do right now." Gohan was amazed by this power. He said, "Unbelievable." Elder Kai said, "This match is now even. Both sides seem to have reached their limits, or so I think." When Naruto and Goku looked at each other, both of their energies flared with power and intensity. Both men thought the same thing, so they ran at each other at full speed and collided with their kicks, which sent out a huge shockwave. They fought back and forth with punches, kicks, and blocks. Naruto threw an elbow and a knee, but they were both blocked. Goku fought back with punches and kicks that Naruto had no trouble blocking. Seeing the chance he needed, he threw a rising kick that sent Goku high into the air. He then attacked where they were exchanging punches again. Naruto hit Goku with a low kick and started a series of fast blur punches that Goku blocked but still got pushed back by. Naruto kept doing this and quickly shot a ki wave that knocked Goku down. He was holding back the attack until he knocked it away behind him, which destroyed another pillar. As he flew toward Naruto, he disappeared with his instant transmission, then came back behind him with a kick that sent Naruto flying. He stopped, but Goku did the move again. Two can play that game. Naruto used his own instant transmission and disappeared as Goku came from behind with a kick that missed. He then appeared on top and hit Goku in the head with an axe kick, sending him flying backwards. Luckily, he landed on his feet and flew back to his opponent, and Naruto followed them as they slammed into each other and then broke apart, doing this over and over again all over the arena. They hit each other with their fists, but neither of them backed down. They were both pushed back by the force of their blows. Naruto fired a ki blast that Goku had to avoid as he flew towards him. Once he got close enough, he hit the majestic Saiyan god with a punch that sent him back. Naruto got himself back. He took off and flew back to where the two warriors were fighting again. Whis said, "Every time you think one of them has the upper hand, the other turns it around and makes it even again. These two have come a long way to get where they are." Gohan said, "It's been a while since I've seen Dad fight someone for this long and push him this far." He was saying this as he watched the two fight, with one landing a kick and the other a punch. Shin was amazed by the battle and said, "This is amazing." Elder Kai said, "This is like Beerus versus Goku all over again." When they went their separate ways again, they were ready to stop. Goku gathered the energy in his hands and took a familiar stance. Naruto spread his arms out and both of his hands formed a giant Rasengan, but one was orange and the other was white. He slapped his wrists together and cupped his hands back, combining the two energies to make a large white and orange ki ball. Kami. The best. Hami. Rotate in a circle. Ha. Oh, no. Both Goku and Naruto fired their attacks at the same time. Goku's huge energy wave met Naruto's huge spiral energy wave and they hit each other. Both men didn't give up, even though pieces of the ring bellow were being broken off and the wind was blowing hard all around. The energies had made the whole place brighter. Zeno's eyes lit up when he said, "Sugoi." Beerus said, "Only one will win, and the other will lose. Let's see who wins first." Naruto smiled a little. "Sorry, Goku, but this match belongs to me." He yelled as his energy flared up and his hair changed, getting white highlights. His attack soon started to push Goku back, which surprised him and made him struggle to get back. As Naruto's attack beat Goku's, he let out a roar. Soon, he was caught up in the attack, which caused a huge explosion and filled the area with smoke. "Dad." Gohan said in a worried tone. Beerus and Whis just watched. Shin and the older man were followed by an awakened Hercule, which made him nervous. After a few seconds of silence, the smoke slowly cleared, revealing a panting Naruto who had dropped out of his god form and landed on his behind on the broken ring. But when the smoke finally cleared up, everyone was shocked to see that Goku was still standing, but he was still in blue form. His shirt was gone, and his pants had been cut down to look like shorts. The attack had left marks on his body. Naruto was shocked that Goku was still alive. He did hold back so he wouldn't accidentally kill him, but still. Goku gave a small smile and a thumbs up, then closed his eyes, fell back, and went to sleep. When he woke up, he was back to his old self. The Grand Priest looked at both warriors at the same time. He said, "The third and final match is over. The winner of this match is Naruto Uzumaki of Universe Zero. With 3 wins, Universe Zero wins the Zeno Expo." No one applauded. Naruto sighed because he was tired and got up slowly. He walked over to Goku, who was lying down, picked him up, and put him on his shoulder. He flew to Universe 7 and put him down. He looked at his senseis, who gave him a small nod, which he returned. He then flew back to his team. The gods were talking about the battle with their kais and angels. Naruto is sure that at the tournament, he and Goku will be the main targets. How did it go, Zeno-sama? Are you happy with how it went? Zeno smiled and said, yes, it was a lot of fun and very exciting. I'm now really looking forward to the Tournament of Power. As you all know, Zeno-sama is very happy with the matches between Universes 0, 7, and 9, so let's talk about the rules for the tournament. Same as in anime. Bardock said, a battle royal? Huh, that should be interesting. But it will also be dangerous, Naruto said when Kagaya had finished healing him. The Grand Priest said, as I build the arena for the tournament, you all will have 5 TLKS to get your team together. Naruto yelled, 40 hours. Because he was learning divine language and knew what TLKS meant. What do you mean, Sassoon? Goku cried out when he woke up. Yes. Said the Grand Priest with a happy smile. Some of the other gods and their Kais were kind of freaking out because the end was so close, while others kept their cool. Grand Priest Sama, can I ask you something? Asked Naruto. The angel nodded. I know Zeno-sama wants the tournament to happen soon, but I was wondering if we could have 5 days instead, Naruto said, which surprised the gods. Why? Asked the king of all. Zeno made a small frown. Naruto scratched the back of his head. You'll see, it would give us time to train our fighters so that we can make this tournament 10 times better than what you saw, he said with a smile. Zeno had thought about this idea. Even though he wanted the tournament to start soon, he did enjoy watching the fights between Universes 0, 7, and 9, especially the one between Goku and Naruto. Zeno smiled and said, okay, I'll let it go. The Grand Priest nodded and said, as you've heard, train your fighters and come back in 4 days. The Grand Priest then said, adjourned, and all the gods, their angels, and Kais teleported away. Naruto said, let's go, and his group left. The planet Uzu. The group showed up in Naruto's palace in the throne room. He walked over to his chair, sat down, and sighed. Okay, it looks like we'll have to start looking around. There are 3 of us, including me, and we need 7 more fighters. Naruto, what do you think? Kagaya went along with him. He looked at her as he thought about this and said, Kagaya, look around my universe and see if you can find any strong ki. When the angel looked through the jewel in her orb, she saw 3 places, but the last one made her frown. I found 3 of them on different planets, but the last one is in the Element Nation. Naruto made a small grimace and wondered what was going on back at his birth home. He stood up, made 2 copies of himself, and looked at Brawly and Bardock. He told them, you 2 are going to go with my clones to find these guys. Hopefully they'll accept you, but if they attack, don't hold back. Test them and see how they do. He gave Kagaya a look and a nod. He used his instant transmission to get to the place in his village where the energy was. Konoha. Naruto appeared in the air and saw an attack on the village, with buildings blowing up and people running away in fear. He floated down to the ground, where panic made it hard for most people to recognize him. However, a certain lazy shinobi did. The shinobi Saiyan heard Naruto and saw Shikamaru running up to him. He asked, Shikamaru, what the hell is going on? I don't know what the hell she is, but she's attacking the village, Shikamaru said as best he could to explain the situation. She's turning people into candy and eating them, he said with disgust. This made Naruto raise his eyebrows, and he heard a loud explosion and saw a pink light. I've got this. He disappeared and reappeared in front of a building that was on fire. In front of it stood a tall, curvy pink figure with long, straight, pale pink hair, pointy ears, and a pink tail. She wore white pants that were too big and a black tube top with black arm sleeves. When she felt his presence, she slowly turned around to show him her beautiful face, but her dark eyes were red. She gave him a slow smile while licking her lips and said, "You'll taste yummy." Naruto knew that didn't make sense right now, but she was pretty and... He paused. Damn it, Jiraiya-sensei. He yelled at the bad habit he was taking on from his teacher. She shot out a pink beam, which Naruto lazily avoided as it hit a street post that turned into a candy bar. He blinked and looked back as he continued to avoid the attacks. He fired a ki, but she moved it out of the way and attacked him up close. Naruto dodged each of her kicks, which shows that she was fast. He dodged a kick and gave her a knee to the gut, but he was surprised when she smiled and started hitting him with more kicks, which were pushing him back. He looked at the girl closely and felt like he knew something about her, but he didn't know what it was. Then it hit him as he looked at her ki more. He had a point. She knows Majin Buu, so it makes sense that her ki was already high and that it went up a lot. He could also tell that she was having some trouble with herself. He kicked her away and put a white aura around his right fist. He ran at her at full speed, pulled his arm back, and hit her in the chest with a punch that made a sonic boom. She gasped and fell back. Soon, 12 figures came out of her that turned out to be some of the shinobi. The girl was unconscious but still alive. Naruto looked at a lone figure that slowly stood up to reveal a short pink alien-like kid. He was wearing white pants with an M-shaped buckle, black arm covers, and black boots. As soon as the creature saw Naruto, it snarled and charged at him, hitting him with so many punches and kicks that Naruto had to go majestic. The two of them started to fight back and forth, and each minute the creature got a lot stronger. Naruto had to stop this fight right away before it did more damage to the village. He quickly went into God mode and disappeared as it went for a punch. It looked around confused until Naruto came up behind it and chopped it in the neck, which knocked it out. Naruto knew he couldn't be left out, so he wiped blood from his lip and smeared it on his wrist, where a scroll popped out. He used his blood to make a sign on the monster, and he made a ram sign on the scroll, sealing the creature. He took the scroll and put a seal on it. The village erupted in cheers and rushed to Naruto to help him up. Thank you shouts filled the air. Whoa, guys. Naruto laughed, but he remembered the girl. He got back on his feet and went to check on her. He saw his friends coming up and knew he would have to explain. He hopes the others aren't having trouble. Planet not known. Naruto and Bardock were walking in a place that looked like a jungle. The majestic Saiyan said, "We're not too far away." After cutting through for a few minutes, the Saiyans found a small village. Bardock said, "Looks like this is the place." Naruto nodded, but he could feel many people behind him. He said, "We've got company." When the two people turned around, they saw a lot of short purple aliens with metal spears and tribal marks. Naruto put his hands in the air. Naruto said, "It's okay, I'm not here to hurt you. My friend and I found a powerful key on this planet and followed it to here. Do you know where this person is?" "It's fine," said a calm voice, and the tribal aliens straightened up and moved out of the way. Naruto and Bardock were shocked when they saw the person, but the veteran was more shocked because it was someone who looked a lot like him. Bardock accidentally said, "Frieza." The alien did look like Frieza, but there were some differences. He was taller and more masculine, his skin was deep purple, and he had a long tail. His wrists, ankles, shins, and chest all had armor-like plates on them. The alien looked up. "It's not surprising that you think I'm my younger brother, but I'm not. My name is Cooler." When he said this, the Saiyan was shocked because he didn't know Frieza had a brother, but Naruto was just surprised. He said, "I didn't know Frieza had an older brother." Cooler made a mean face. He made fun of him by saying, "My brother is nothing but trash. He could never have beaten me, and he's always been my dad's favorite." They looked at each other because they had never thought that someone would hate them so much because they were their own blood. Cooler looked at Bardock and said, "I know one of you is a Saiyan, but I thought all of them died out when my brother blew up the planet Vegeta." Nod, Bardock. "Yes, I was the only one who knew what he was going to do and tried to stop him, but I and the planet were both destroyed." "If I had to guess, I'd say you were brought back to life with Namek's Dragon Balls," Cooler said. He had been to many different planets and learned about the people there. The boy nods. "I'm also a Saiyan, but I'm a different kind. We were looking for your best fighter to join us in a tournament and help us win." "And what is this tournament?" asked Cooler, who was interested. "It's called the Tournament of Power, and the best 10 fighters from each of 8 universes are going to compete. The winning team will get to make a wish from the Super Dragon Balls, which can grant any wish." Cooler had heard that the Super Dragon Balls could make anything happen, but he didn't know what the catch was. "And who was the loser?" he asked. "Both the losing teams and their universes will be wiped out," Bardock said in a bold way. This surprised Cooler. "Erased by who?" he asked. "Who is in charge of this tournament?" Bardock told him, he calls himself Zeno. When Cooler heard the name Zeno-sama, the king of all, Grand Zeno, he stopped moving. He had heard a lot of different names. If this was true, not only would his planet be in danger, but so would his life. He stopped and felt something on his leg. When he looked down, he saw a little alien girl who looked like him. She put her arms up to show that she wanted to be picked up. "Frost," said an alien woman who looked like she was from the same species as Cooler. She picked up the little girl and looked at Cooler with a sorry smile on her face. She longed for her dad. Cooler gave her a nod and told her and everyone else to go home, which they did. The woman turned around and kissed him, and the little girl pecked him on the cheek and laughed as they left. When Cooler was alone, he spoke. He replied, "I'm in." Naruto didn't say a word, but he did smile. "Okay, it looks like we have our 5th member. By now, my other shadow clone and Brawly should have found our 6th fighter," Naruto told Bardock. Planet 2 is not known. Naruto and Brawly were flying through the hot wasteland looking for the powerful key. It was strange that anyone would want to be on a dry, hot, and lifeless planet, so he really thought about destroying the place since it served no purpose. 5 minutes went by, and neither man was anywhere near the source. That changed when they saw something that looked like a volcano. Dark red energy pillars shot out, and the planet was shaken by a loud roar. Naruto said with a serious face, "Looks like we found him." Brawly was quietly standing guard when he felt the strong energy wash over him. The duo had flown high and went into the volcano. Luckily, their skin could handle the rising heat from the boiling lava. They kept going down until they saw what looked like a huge person who was chained up. When he got a better look at the person, he knew who it was. He was a big, muscular man with long, spiky hair. He wore a metal mask and a straight jacket. At first, his eyes were white, but soon they turned red. He cried out loud and let out a huge ki. The man's tail waving behind him was what Naruto noticed most. A Saiyan, he thought. I never thought there was another one, but he's not like the others, he thought as he felt the dark energy. Brawly didn't like the energy at all, so he was ready for anything. The big Saiyan seemed to notice Naruto and Brawly. He asked. Naruto flew closer and stood face to face with the big Saiyan. "My name is Naruto Uzumaki, and the one behind me is Brawly. We're both Saiyans," he said. "We're looking for powerful fighters to gather." The big Saiyan didn't say anything, so Naruto went on. "We found a powerful energy here, so we came here to find that fighter." The Saiyan said, "What do I get out of this? What makes you think I won't break out of here and kill you both?" He did this with a black aura, but Naruto wasn't scared. "From the way you're releasing your energy, you should have done it a long time ago, but I'm guessing there's something I can do for you if you join my team of fighters. But if you do, don't even think about betraying me," Naruto told him as he made a Hokkai energy orb. "It'll be the last thing you'll ever do." The Saiyan wasn't scared by this threat, but this move told his instincts to stay away. "Continue," he said. Naruto went on to talk about the Tournament of Power, the other universe fighters, and the Super Dragon Balls. Once he was done, the Saiyan didn't say anything in response. Instead, he looked down as if he were thinking. "Get me out of here," he said. Naruto knew what that meant, but first he leaned over to Brawly and said, "Make sure you keep an eye on him just in case." Brawly nodded, so Naruto flew over to the chains, put his hand on one, yelled, "Hokkai!" and broke the chains. The Saiyan roared as his energy flared around him. This blew Naruto back, who was protected by an energy barrier, while Brawly stood his ground. The man took off the straight jacket, revealing his muscular body. He flew over to Naruto and stood in front of him, saying, "Cumber." Naruto didn't need to ask what that meant, so he just nodded. It looks like he got his 7th fighter, so it's time to go back to his planet. He told 2 men to hold on to his shoulder, and they did. He made a tiny piece of Hokkai and threw it in the lave. Suddenly, the planet started to shake and move, and the 3 of them disappeared as the planet exploded. Hospital Konoha. Naruto was watching the alien girl sleeping on a bed when he heard the door open and saw Tsunade. "Glad to see you again, kid. It's been quiet since you left," she said with a small smile. Naruto laughed a little and said, "Yeah, that's what the guys had been telling me." They heard an alien woman groan and saw her wake up. Where am I?" She tried to quickly sit up. Naruto slowly helped her up and told her, "Whoa, it's okay, you're in the hospital." The woman could now see, and she blushed when she saw Naruto, whom she thought was very handsome. "Who are you?" he said. "My name is Naruto, and the woman behind me is named Tsunade." "What happened? Do you remember?" Tsunade had given this to Naruto to do because he was the one who knew the most about how to handle it. She said in a shy way, I don't really remember, but all I know is that my name is 21. Naruto could tell something was wrong with her. Maybe Kaguya could help her, but for now. Well, 21, you were attacking my home village, but I could tell you were not yourself, he told her, which surprised her. But don't worry, whatever was controlling you is gone, and it's right here, he said while holding the scroll. She was shocked by the explanation, but she couldn't help feeling thankful, so she bowed her head and said, thank you. Naruto smiled and waved it off. Well, I'm always happy to help, he said. You're pretty strong yourself, he added, which made her cheeks turn red. Tsunade smiled, said, I'll leave you two alone, and left the room while closing the door. 21. I know you don't understand what's going on, but I need you to come back to my home planet with me. I know someone who can help you remember, Naruto said. 21 was surprised by this request, but she couldn't say no because he saved her. She nods. Okay, then. Let me go tell Tsunade I'll be back, he said and left. He got the memories of his shadow clones and was both happy and surprised by the news. He now had 6 fighters, including himself, with 3 more to go. I hope it will be easier to find them, he said. The planet Uzu. Jine, Bardock, Brawly, Cumber, and Cooler were waiting in the throne room for Naruto. When he came in with a pink female, he looked at everyone and smiled. Good to see you all, thanks Kaguya, he told the angel, who smiled and nodded. He stood in front of everyone and said, now you all know why you're here, but I'll tell those who don't. He told them, you have been chosen to take part in the most important tournament of all. Naruto said, the Tournament of Power. He then said, 8 universes will send their 10 best fighters to compete in a battle royal. The only way to win is to knock your opponent out of the arena. The rules are simple. No killing, no weapons, and it's unlikely that you'll be able to fly with ki. Bardock said, sounds simple enough. Only one problem, of course, Cooler said in a sarcastic way. Naruto nodded and was going to ask Kaguya about that until a black swirling portal opened up high up, and a figure fell through it. He would have hit the ground if Bardock hadn't caught him. The veteran Saiyan looked at the man, who had spiky hair like a Saiyan, blue armor, and a tail, which surprised him. A Saiyan, he said in a surprised voice. Kaguya walked over and put her staff near the young man who had just arrived. After a minute, she gave him a small smile and said, it looks like we found your 8th fighter, Naruto-sama. Naruto raised an eyebrow at this, but he would talk to her about it later. Take him to the healing pod, he told Bardock, who didn't need to be told twice, and he and Jine left. As you all know, our lives depend on this tournament, so losing is not an option. Right now, you all have time to train, and the tournament will start in 5 days. Kaguya and I will train you, but I warn you that any training you've had before won't be as hard as this, he said, but no one backed down. I suggest you all get ready, he said, and then made a clone of himself. My shadow clone will lead you to the training grounds, he said as his clone led them there. Naruto looked at Kaguya and asked, Kaguya, is it possible to get a fighter from the other world to join our team? Naruto was in hell, or he thought he was, because he was in the middle of a flower field. Wow, this is beautiful, said 21 as he looked at the flowers and butterflies. Not what you'd expect, right? Naruto said as a joke, making her laugh. The shinobi Saiyan told Kaguya to look for other strong fighters, but there weren't any who could keep up in the tournament. Luckily, she suggested looking in hell, which was the same thing, but they found 2 after looking much deeper. Frieza was the first, of course. Now that I've heard a lot about him, I'm sure he's a good fighter. However, there was a problem. Bardock would try to kill Frieza as soon as he saw him, and Cooler would refuse and might not even help him in the tournament if things got tough. He doesn't know much about the second fighter, but he does remember his name. Cell. He was an android with unlimited power who learned from Kaguya's jewel. He was made from the cells of Goku, Vegeta, King Cold, Frieza, and Piccolo and had their abilities and memories. He was killed by Gohan, who was the first to reach Super Saiyan 2 before his father and Vegeta, which was impressive given his age at the time. He chose Cell in the end, but first they had to go talk to a fortune teller named Baba. Kaguya told him that Baba could get into Hell's Stay. Naruto gave the witch a Hakai Rasengan, which she liked and took as a gift. They only had 24 hours, but that's all they'll need. As they went further down, they saw a purple cocoon that looked like a shell sitting against a tree. 21 was surprised by the energy coming from the cocoon. This must be him. Naruto made a keyblade and sent a slash of energy at the object, which cut it open. Blue energy suddenly shot out of the hole and began to build up. Soon, it had destroyed the cocoon, letting out a huge aura that changed the whole atmosphere. The sky was now a dark red color, and the dead butterflies scared 21. Slowly, the flowers turned black or gray and looked dead, too. Slowly, the energy went away, and a person stood up and turned around. It showed us the perfect robot. Cell. Cell asked, "Who are you two, and why did you wake me up?" "My name is Naruto Uzumaki, and the one behind me is 21. Naruto and 21 both introduced themselves. Cell's eyes grew wide as he looked at the shy-looking female Majin Buu. He could feel her ki, which was a mix of his own and that of other fighters. Where had he seen her before? Ah, he remembered now. Dr. Gero had made Plan 21 in case he hadn't been able to kill Goku, but it looks like that wasn't the case. Naruto told him, "We came here to recruit you." "Recruit?" Cell asked with an eyebrow raised. Naruto then told him about the Tournament of Power in the 8 universes, each of which had 10 of the strongest fighters. Cell seemed interested in this competition. He was made to fight the strongest beings in the universe from the moment he was made. Hearing that there were more than one fighter and that they were strong made it sound like a very interesting story. "The Super Dragon Balls will be given to the team that wins the tournament," Naruto said next. Super Dragon Balls? Cell looked confused because he had never heard of them before. He had heard of Dragon Balls, but not Super Dragon Balls. Naruto said, "They can grant any wish, but unlike the regular ones, they have no limit." Cell asked with a small smile, "So, if I want to, I can wish myself back to life?" He got a nod. "I'm sure you know that Goku, Gohan, and Vegeta will be entering," said Naruto. At this, Cell's smile grew. Yes, those friends, he's had for a long time, and yes, the brat is probably all grown up, so revenge will be sweet. "I'm in," he said, putting out his hand for Naruto to shake. Kagaya and the witch both showed up. "Are you ready yet, Naruto-sama?" The boy nods. The witch told the robot, "Okay, remember that in 24 hours you'll be back here," which made the robot frown. Naruto gave the angel a nod, and the group disappeared. The planet Uzu. Naruto was walking through the halls with a tray of food when he walked into a room and saw the now awake Saiyan. He put the tray down in front of him and said, "Good, you're awake." When the young Saiyan looked at the tray and smelled the delicious food, his mouth started to water. He took a piece of meat and ate it, which made him want more, so he started to gobble. Naruto had a laugh. "I can see you were hungry." The Saiyan stopped and smiled in a shy way. "That's fine," he said to reassure him. "My name is Naruto Uzumaki. What's yours?" The young Saiyan stopped and was about to answer, but he stopped because he had a headache, which Naruto saw and looked worried about. The young Saiyan got up and looked at Naruto. He said his name, Shallot. Naruto nodded and gave a small smile. "Shallot, you're on planet Uzu right now. Do you remember how he got here?" he said. Shallot shook his head and said, "I'm sorry, but I can't think of anything." He told the truth. Naruto nods and looks at the Saiyan's energy. He notices that Shallot has finished his food and burped. "That was the stuff," he says with a pat on the stomach. Naruto got the Saiyan's attention by saying, "Shallot." He then said, "I know you're new and confused, but hear me out." He then told the Saiyan about the Tournament of Power, the 8 universes and their 10 best fighters, and what would happen if they lost and were erased. Shallot was shocked by all of this information. He had just woken up from a nap, and now he was hearing about a very bad situation. Naruto told him, "You don't have to join my team, but I'd like it if you did. You may not know it, but you're strong, and you can get even stronger if you train with me, but you don't have to." Shallot was thinking about this. Even though he doesn't know who Naruto was or where he was, he can tell that he was a good person. It wouldn't feel right for him to say no. Naruto smiled and said, "Good, now there's just one more." Then he got serious. Room for private training. Naruto was standing across from a scroll in the middle of a room. He had Kagaya seal the room with her powers in case things got out of hand. He made a hand sign that meant release, and smoke came out of the scroll, revealing a short pink alien who was sleeping. Naruto's sweat fell on the creature that was sleeping, but a few seconds later, it started to wake up. It looked around and saw Naruto. It growled, charged at Naruto, and threw out a dozen fast kicks that Naruto had to block. The small pink fighter then jumped from a different spot and kept throwing kicks at Naruto until a ki blast knocked him back. He stood up and charged at his opponent. They were trading kicks and combos of punches. Naruto hit the creature with a roundhouse, which made it spin. The creature hit back with its own punch, which made Naruto step back. The Saiyan thought this would take a long time, so he changed into his majestic form. After 8 hours, Kagaya kept watching Naruto, who was now in SSJ4, and the pink savage fighter, who didn't look tired at all, fight for a long time. As they flew around and hit each other, Naruto decided to end the fight because he had finally gotten what he needed. He switched to God mode and waited for the creature to get close. When it was only a few feet away, he thrust out his hand, which sent a wave like aura at the trapped fighter. He tried to get away, but he couldn't. Naruto looked at the creature's bloodlust-filled eyes, wrapped his right hand in a purple aura, and smashed it into the creature's chest. Suddenly, the creature felt weak, and as Naruto focused his energy on him, the creature's bloodlust went away. Naruto took his hand away and floated down with the creature, who was now calm. Once Naruto landed, he went back to normal, which broke the creature's hold on him. It looked confused about where he was. "Where's Boo?" asked the animal. As the fight went on, Naruto realized that this creature was related to Majin Buu, but this Buu seemed much faster and less predictable. Naruto slowly told Buu, "I'm a friend, and I need your help." Naruto went on, and Buu tilted his head. "I need you on my team. Will you help?" Buu didn't understand Naruto, but he remembered the fight, which made him happy. "Buu wants to fight you again," he said, pointing at Naruto. Naruto was confused by this, but he came up with a plan. "I'll tell you what. If you help me win this tournament, then we can fight again," he said. Buu thought about this, then gave a creepy, wide-toothed smile and a quick nod. He thought, the team is finally put together. The throne room. They were all waiting for Naruto, who soon came in with Kagaya and Hagora following behind him. He stood in front of them and told them, "Now you all know why you're here. We're going to compete in the most important tournament of our lives. I won't lie to you. We're fighting for our lives, and we have to be ready to do that." He looked at each of them and then said, "Kagaya, Hagora will train you, and I'll be there too, since I'm joining." He told them, "Each of you will train inside Kaguya's scepter, where time moves much faster, so 4 days would be like 4 years." This surprised everyone except Bardock and Brawly, who had already trained there. He told them, "Hagora will help you find your true power," which was a puzzle. "What do you mean by true power, and what about my 24 hours? Cell asked, crossing his arm. Naruto told them in Cell, "You're all strong, but you don't know how to use your true power that's deep inside you. That's why Hagora will help you. I've already told the witch about it, so when the tournament is over, you can go home." Most of them looked determined, but some, like Cooler, Cumber, and Cell, didn't look as enthusiastic but were still very interested. Naruto thought, this long training is going to be hell. Day 1. AMV Disturbed Vengeful. Naruto was jumping rope with weights on his legs, arms, and the rope itself. This went on for a few seconds until he started to pick up speed and jump a lot faster. 10 minutes went by before he stopped and slammed the rope down, making a big hole. He walked over to a big tree with marks on it and started punching and kicking it 10 feet 000 times with each hit. He was now climbing up a frozen mountain in a hard blizzard. He took a deep breath, jumped up high, grabbed a rock, and pulled himself up. He was doing sit-ups while hanging from a tree and twisting to the left and right. He stopped and fell, but landed safely on his feet and started doing push-ups with only 2 fingers. He was sitting under a waterfall and meditating. He didn't know it, but for a second, a silver glow surrounded him and then went away. Kagaya, who wasn't too far away, saw what happened and now knows that she was right. Jine and Bardock were sparring in a rocky mountain. They were both in Super Saiyan and traded punches and kicks. Bardock was much stronger, but Jine was faster. When she changed into SSJ2, she surprised her husband. Bardock was proud of how far she had come. There was a shockwave when Jine and Bardock's punches hit each other. Jine then threw a quick front kick that almost hit Bardock, but he blocked it. She wasn't done yet, so she threw a few more punches before catching him off guard with a fake front kick that he fell for in a roundhouse that made him fall back. He didn't have time to recover before she flew and hit him with a flying kick to the chest, sending him crashing into a boulder. He winced a little but was surprised by his wife's move. Bardock grinned and looked at her with a lustful look in his eyes. Oh, he can't wait for this training to be over. Day 2. Cooler was jumping from place to place, trying to avoid Kaguya's ki blasts while fighting Cell, who was also trying to avoid the blasts and get back to his attack. Both of them used their tails to wrap around the other's throat. They started to squeeze, but neither of them gave up. They were about to pass out when they felt a big ki blast coming at them, which made them stop and deflect the attack back at Kaguya, who knocked it away as she twirled her staff and made a dozen ki balls all around. Cell and Cooler were right next to each other and started to deflect the many attacks. Brawly and Cumber climbed up the mountain, each carrying a huge boulder. Kaguya made it harder for them by putting them in heavy bodysuits that she made herself. The gravity seals on the suits get stronger every minute, so every step they took made dents in the ground. Both men were flying around while Cumber tried to avoid getting bit by a white fur creature with one ear. Bah! Brawly had made friends with and grown close to an alien. When Naruto heard Brawly's story about the alien, he decided to bring it to his planet, which made Brawly happy because he got to see his best friend again. Cumber saw Brawly from above and blocked a punch that sent him back. He saw the beast coming at him and decided to get serious. He shouted, and energy blew Ba back. Brawly clenched his fists, and a light green aura surrounded him. His body and arms grew much bigger, and the color of his eyes changed. He flew towards the muscled Cumber, who didn't back down and also flew towards Brawly. When their fists hit, they made a violent shockwave. Kaguya watched to make sure neither of them went too far. These two, along with Naruto and that Kid Buu thing, might have been the strongest on the team. Yes, both this team and Naruto will be ready for the tournament when it starts. Day 3. 21 and Kid Buu were fighting in close quarters under the sea. Buu threw a kick that 21 avoided, and 21 fought back with a punch that Buu also avoided. They both made a pink ki orb and slammed it into each other. The clear blue sea was flowing calmly until the surface started to bubble and a beam of pink light shot up into the sky. Shallot was trying to hit Kaguya, but he was easily avoiding her attacks. Then, she dodged a kick and hit him in the stomach with the staff, making him wince and run away. He yelled, turned into a Super Saiyan, and attacked with kicks over and over again. She turned black and shot a high-velocity ki blast at him, but he easily dodged or deflected them. He flew away, turned around, and fired his own ki blasts. He stopped his attack, made a gold orb of Ki, and thrust his hand at her. This caused a wave of ki to come from his hand, but she made a barrier that stopped it. He smiled sheepishly and gave her a nod. Day 4. Naruto was running across a rocky wasteland, dodging stone spikes that were coming out of the ground and ki blasts from Kaguya that were coming from the sky. The spikes and blasts were coming at him faster and faster, and he just dodged one that almost hit him but only scratched his cheek and flipped over a dozen blasts. The Saiyan shinobi didn't change into a different form, or else this would be easy. As he ran, he closed his eyes, focused, and tried to block out the sounds around him. Kaguya saw the aura around Naruto as he started to avoid her attacks easily. Each move he made left beautiful afterimages, and Naruto jumped up to the top of a nearby cliff without looking back to see the attacks coming at him. As they got closer, Naruto opened his eyes and showed them his silver iris. Everything happened in a white flash. Naruto was now behind the ki balls, but not long after they exploded, the energy around him died and his eyes slowly turned blue again. He looked up at Kaguya, grinned, and told her, "We're ready." End of AMV. The last day. Naruto was meditating in his own training room. The fate of our universe hangs in the balance at tomorrow's Tournament of Power. "You sound tense," Kurama told him. "Can you blame me? All of my friends' lives are on the line, so I have to do whatever it takes to win." Kurama. Even if it meant killing Goku and his universe? Naruto looked down, and even though his hair was in front of his eyes, you could still see a small smile on his face. "Trust me," he said. When Kurama saw that look, he knew he was right. He smiled and said, "Give them hell, Kit." 10 minutes before the Tournament of Power, Naruto's room. Naruto was putting on his white sleeveless GI that showed off his chiseled chest, a silver wristband, black GI pants held up by a silver sash, and kung fu shoes. He was looking at himself in the mirror. Kaguya walked in. Everyone is set. He turned around and walked with her, and Hagora showed up next to him. When he got to his throne, everyone was waiting. He stood in front of them and looked at each one of them. You've all trained so hard that you were almost broken, but you pushed through. Remember that it's not just about you. Cumber and Cell were silent. Your pals. 21, Brawly, Kid Buu, and Shallot all thought about the time they had trained together. Those you care about. Jine thought about Kakarot, while Cooler and Bardock thought about their wives. He told them, remember that the most important thing is to stay alive. Even though no one had said anything, it was clear they didn't have any doubts. He looked at Kaguya. We're all set, she nodded. She told them, okay, everyone needs to hold hands for this to happen. Bardock, Cooler, Cell, and Cumber looked annoyed, but they didn't ask why. Instead, the group walked in a circle holding hands, with Naruto holding Kaguya on his left and 21 on his right. Father, everyone in Universe Zero has come together and is ready, Kaguya said. Grand Priest's voice echoed, stand by, daughter. The group was surrounded by a bright light that went out quickly, revealing them in a clear ball that floated up high. Brawly looked down and saw Lemma waving goodbye and Chilai blowing a kiss, which made him blush. The group was no longer there. The Void Universe. When Naruto and the others got to the fighting stage, they were shocked to see nothing but a black void and bleachers where the gods, angels, and Kai would sit. Naruto looked around to see if any of the other teams had shown up, but only the team from Universe 11 had come. They were dressed in red and black spandex suits with white gloves and shoes, and two of them caught his eye. The first was a big, tall alien who looked like a person. He had tan skin, yellow eyes with dark lines under them, and a big white mustache that covered his mouth. He also has two veins on his head that are always easy to see. Aside from his round middle, he has a well-muscled body, but his proportions are off. He was short and had skinny legs, but his arms were very long and his hands were so big they were bigger than his head. Naruto knew who the man was because his energy was the same as when he showed up at the Zeno Expo by that god clown. The second person was different though. He was a humanoid with a tall body that was very muscular and well defined. His head was big and smooth. Gray skin, big black round eyes with big pupils and dark gray sclera, flat round ears, and a flat nose that is almost invisible. Now Naruto knows that this guy was the strongest member of that team, and he knows why. He didn't feel his power. That would be strange because it would mean two different things. One can only guess how strong he is if he has God's key or more. He saw Bardock, Brawly, Cumber, Cooler, and Cell all looking at the two fighters. The group split up to look at different parts of the stage. Bardock tried to fly, but he failed the test. Some of the other teams had come with their gods, angels, and Kais. Some of the fighters were interesting, but Universe 6 Assassin was the one who caught Naruto's eye. He walked over to the assassin and said, "Hit, it's good to see you again." The assassin nodded. When he heard his name, Naruto-san, the majestic Saiyan turned around and saw Kaba and two girls following him. He said to the Universe 6 Saiyan, "Kaba, I hope you're ready." Kaba smiled and nodded. "I am. I have been training non-stop, so I know that Master Vegeta will be at his best. Oh, I want to introduce you to two people." He moved and showed the two girls. These are Caulifla and Kale. Like me, they are both Saiyans. Naruto was pretty sure that these girls were. When Caulifla walked up to him with her hands on her hips, he liked how she had just a few curves. She looked up at him because he was a few inches taller than her and said, "So you're the special Saiyan." She told him straight out, "You don't look so tough to me." Caulifla. Kaba was shocked to hear. "Oh, shut up, Kaba. Don't think I'll be nice to him just because he's a special Saiyan. We're here to win, after all," the woman laughed. Naruto looked behind Caulifla and saw another female Saiyan who looked very shy and tried to hide. This reminded him of Hinata, which was a funny coincidence, but he had a strong feeling that she was stronger than she looked. Soon, everyone except for Universe 7 showed up. Brawly, Shallot, and 21 were talking. Jine and Bardock were also talking. Cumber was sitting on a big rock and looking at all the fighters. Cooler and Cell kept walking around, and Kid Buu was sleeping. Universe 7's fighters had finally arrived. Naruto knew most of them, but some were new. He was surprised to see Frieza, but he was even more surprised to see him with a halo on his head. Before he went, he saw two of his teammates walking toward them. This should be interesting, he thought. Universe 7. Goku and his team had arrived. Frieza, Vegeta, Gohan, Piccolo, Roshi, 17, 18, Krillin, Majin Buu, and 17 and 18. As the group looked around and saw all the fighters, the orange-clad Saiyan said, "Wow, everyone's here." They heard footsteps coming toward them, and when they turned, they were shocked to see a certain alien tyrant. Well, hello again, everyone, Cell said with a smirk that showed how cocky he still was. Hello. Little brother, said Cooler, smirking. Brother. Everyone except Vegeta yelled in surprise. Frieza stopped being surprised and gave Cooler an angry look. What are you doing here, Cooler? He asked. Cooler laughed out loud. Of course, little brother, I'm here because my team is in the tournament, he said. Who? Asked Krillin. Of course, that young Saiyan brought me here, too, Cell said with a smirk. Cooler notices that his brother has a halo around his head. When he saw Frieza's eye twitch and hear him growl, he said, I have to say, brother, the halo looks great on you. Cell said to Gohan, look at you. Gohan's eyes were still narrowed at the android. He teased the hybrid by saying, now that you're all grown up, it'll be a pleasure to beat you in your universe in the tournament. He then turned his attention to 17 and 18. Don't think I forgot about you too. After all, it was thanks to you both that I had reached my perfect form, he told the brother and sister, whose fists were clenched. Goku heard an angry shout of, Frieza, and jumped in front of the alien tyrant just in time to catch a punch that sent a huge explosion. The alien tyrant was Bardock, who was in SSJ-2. Frieza looked surprised for a second, but then he started laughing, which soon turned into a laugh that burned in Bardock's brain when the planet Vegeta was destroyed along with him, his team, and his wife. Frieza said, well, hello again, Bardock, with a smirk that made the Saiyan angry. You jerk, you should be rotting in hell, Goku's father snarled when he saw that his son had stopped him. Kakarot, what the hell is he doing here? Don't you know that this person is responsible for the destruction of our planet and the deaths of our race, including mine and your mother? He asked. Goku didn't feel comfortable when his father told him that even though he didn't grow up with them, they were still his family. He saw his mother, who was afraid and confused looking. He groaned. I brought Frieza back from hell for one day because one of my teammates was badly hurt during training and we only had an hour before the tournament started. We could have used Senzu beans, but we ran out. Bardock saw that the tyrant had a halo around his head. But he's dead, right? He asked. Goku was about to answer when this happened. Frieza said, ho, not for long. Your son and I have a deal. If I help his team win this tournament, I get my wish to come back to life. When Frieza killed Krillin, the Earth Saiyan felt a fierce look that burned through him. He knew it came from his father, whose face was the same as his own. He turned around and walked away. I hope you're ready, because when this tournament starts, I'm not your father, I'm just one of your opponents who will knock you out at any cost, he said in a cold voice. When he heard this, Goku jerked back and looked sad. Jine looked shocked and wanted to talk to Bardock, but he told her to give him space by the way he looked at her. She went to her son and gave him a hug, which he returned slowly. She told him, don't worry, I'll talk to him. He gave her a weak smile, but she could tell he was hurt. When Vegeta saw the huge Saiyan Cumber, he could tell that something was different about this guy. Cumber turned around and stared straight at the prince. Neither of them looked away. Kid Buu and Fat Buu looked at each other and cocked their heads. Shin, who was scared, stuttered, Majin Buu. Elder Kai yelled, How is here? He was scared. With 21, Brawly, and Shallot behind him, Naruto said, because of me. He then joined Cooler and Cell. Shin said, Lord Naruto, please, I must insist that Kid Buu should, but Naruto cut him off. He said, I know, Goku told me many years ago, but if you look closer, he's different. Yeah, he's right, Goku said. I don't feel the bloodlust that he had when we first fought. He was surprised to see 21, and he said, hey, you look like a female Majin Buu. 21 was a little shy, but she smiled and bowed. Nice to meet you all. She bowed and looked at everyone, but when she saw 17 and 18, She gasped, ran to them, and gave them both a big hug, which confused the androids. 17, 18, are you okay? She cried, tears of relief. Do we know you? 17 asked awkwardly. 18 and her brother were on the same boat. 21 took a slow step back and frowned at them. You don't remember me, do you? She felt her heart break. I'm 21, and I'm your sister, she said. Sister, what? Everyone yelled in surprise, but the two robots were the most shocked. 18 shut her eyes and rubbed the side of her head as if she had a headache, but then she gasped. Honey, how are you? Krillin worriedly asked his wife. 18 said, now I remember. It was right before Jero shut us down for the first time. 21 showed smiles and nods. If that was true, why weren't you in Jero's lab when he woke us up again? 17 people asked. 21 shook his head and said, I really don't know, 17. All I remember is waking up in a lab that didn't look like Jero's. Before I could find out more, I passed out and woke up with Naruto by my side. I owe him a lot. Good job, Naruto. Goku smiled and gave a thumbs up. Naruto laughed and put his hand on the shoulder of Shallot. You guys have met Broly before. This is Shallot. He is also a Saiyan, he said, which shocked both Saiyans from Universe 7, but Vegeta the most. Another one? He saw the tail and knew he had to be from a universe where Saiyans had tails, but Whis had told him that only the 6th universe had Saiyans. I see you've already met Cumber, Naruto told the huge, muscled Saiyan with a thumbs up. Frieza got more angry as more and more Saiyans showed up, because he thought they were all dead. Him. Lord Frieza, son of King Cold and heir to the Cold clan, would rather see all monkeys disappear from all universes than anything else. Then he finally got it. He had a sinister smirk that no one noticed except for a certain shinobi Saiyan whose eyes narrowed, his mind paused, and he quickly turned around and saw no one. He knew he felt someone behind him and his eyes moved around until they landed on a certain huge gray humanoid fighter from Team 11 who had his arms crossed and his eyes closed. He saw Goku, who had a small smile on his face. Oh, yeah, he was fired up now. The Grand Priest said, the tournament will start soon. Goku told Naruto, it looks like this is it, and when Naruto nodded and moved forward, Goku bumped his hand. Good luck, he told them. Goku bumped back and smiled to show his thanks. He told the shinobi Saiyan, don't hold back. The Saiyan gave a small smile. Soon, all of the universe fighters were with their teams, and Naruto's Grand Priest started to go over the rules and time again. After he finished, he looked at the Omni King. Shall we start the tournament now, Your Majesty? Yes, yes, please hurry. Zeno yelled in a hurry. The Grand Priest turned around and looked at the warrior. Please get ready, warriors of each universe. All of the Kais and their gods of destruction, as well as their angel, sat down on the bleachers. Kagaya and Hagora also sat down. Some of the fighters tensed up as the air got thicker and more people looked at each other. Cumber's eyes got narrow as he looked at the Saiyan Prince, who also did the same thing. Team Universe 0 and 7 caught the eyes of Kaba, Caulifla, and Kale. Piccolo and Gohan saw Cell, who gave them a cocky smirk when he saw them too. Both 17 and 18 saw 21's sad smile, which quickly turned into a look of determination, which they acknowledged with a small nod. Broly, Shallot, and Majin Buu watched, but their eyes showed they were ready to fight. Cooler and Frieza glared at each other, but Frieza had a wicked grin on his face. Jin stood next to Bardock as he glared at the tyrant. Naruto and Goku looked at the gray humanoid fighter. When the gray fighter's eyes opened, Naruto and Goku felt a little bit of his power and laughed. Let the power tournament begin. Began the Grand Priest. A gong had rung, and everyone was charging at each other. Let's go. Naruto said, and everyone charged. As key energy blasts lit up the arena, the fight was in full swing in a matter of seconds. Zeno was astonished. Cumber was running through everyone who got in his way. He back-fisted a player who tried to attack him from behind, and he kicked another player, sending him flying and into his own teammates. The large green-looking alienoid charged at the Saiyan, who didn't even try to avoid it. When it was only a few feet away, Cumber quickly slammed his hand into the alienoid's gut and made a dark red key orb that exploded, hurting his opponent and sending him crashing to the ground. Cooler was easily avoiding every opponent who came at him. He jumped over one and hit him hard in the face with his tail. Another tried to attack him from above, but he saw that coming and shot a purple beam from his finger that hurt the other opponent's shoulder badly. Beerus said, "So this is Frieza's older brother?" "Yes, my lord. According to what my sister told me, Cooler was supposed to be the heir to the Cold Race, but he and Frieza had a fight, so Frieza was picked instead." Beerus kept watching the fight without saying anything. Brawly was punching and kicking back at his opponents when he felt something vibrate beneath him. He turned around and saw a machine spinning really fast and knocking everyone away. Instead of trying to avoid it, Brawly caught the machine's long arm and ripped it off before giving it a hard punch that sent it flying into the void. Soon after, its god and Kai showed up. The Grand Priest told everyone, Narurama of Universe 3 has dropped out. Naruto threw a sidekick at an enemy, which made it fly away. He fired a ki blast with a high speed at a group that was him. Cell was just humming a tune while he easily beat 3 fighters. When he had had enough, he quickly kicked both to the left and right, which sent 2 fighters flying. He caught the third fighter's arm and slammed a knee into his stomach, which made him hunch, and then he was kicked away. Gohan kicked his opponent away after deflecting an attack and saying, "Guest Cell hasn't changed at all." Piccolo told his old student, "Worry about him later. For now, focus on getting rid of the others." Beerus said with a slight frown, "It looks like Cell knows how to get under the kid's skin." Gohan told me that Cell was made by a man named Dr. Gero, who also made 17 and 18. This fighter was made from the cells of the strongest fighters at the time, Goku, Piccolo, Vegeta, Frieza, and King Cold, which is how he got his name. Cell. Bardock and Jine were fighting off their enemies, who were both flying, which was hard for them because they were on the ground. Jine went to her husband for help. She told her husband, "Bardock, quickly throw me in the air." Barfik grabbed her and spun her around before throwing her into the air, where she dodged the ki attacks by twisting and turning. She kicked away a green creature that looked like a bird and used her signature move on a girl with butterfly wings, but the girl used her own move and tried to push the Jine's back. Bardock did his signature move and then threw it right next to Jine's. This was enough to knock Jine out of the arena and into the void. Lilibeu of Universe 10 has dropped out, the Grand Priest told Zeno. Zeno nodded and had a device called the Godpad that helped him keep track of which fighters were still in and which ones were out. Goku was impressed by his parents and said, "Wow, they do make a good team." Vegeta scowled at a warrior as he threw him out of the arena and said, "Forget about them, you idiot." Naruto hit an opponent with a fast chain of punches and a hard front kick that made him fall. Not soon enough for Universe 9's trio to danger. As they started going around him, they all laughed, but what stood out was how fast they were going. Basil said with a smirk, "Give up. You can't win against the 3 of us." Lavender added with a smile, "No one can beat the trio to danger together." Bergamo said, "You will fail here." Soon, all of the other fighters from Universe 9 joined the battle. "Give up, you can't beat all of us," bragged a warrior made of metal. When Brawly joined Naruto, that changed, and it was now a fair fight. Naruto laughed and gave a smirk.
"I'll show you why it was a bad idea to challenge Universe 0, he yelled as he became Majestic Super Saiyan.
He looked a little different as the energy around him roared with power and lightning crackled. Soon, they all came running at them. Both men stood guard until their opponents attacked and started to avoid them as they moved far away from each other. Brawly moved like a cat to avoid a claw slice from a purple woman and hit her with a roundhouse, which sent her back. When Lavender looked up, he came down with his poison-covered hand, but Brawly yelled, sending out a shockwave of his energy that pushed the wolf warrior away. Brawly's right arm was suddenly caught in a web, and his left arm was frozen by ice spikes shot by a huge purple warrior who looked like a stone. Such a handsome face. "Too bad I have to rip it apart," the Catwoman said as she ran toward him. Brawly yelled, "That was a mistake," as green ki exploded from him and threw her into her 2 teammates. He got out of the web and broke some ice, which froze the other hand. He made a big basketball-sized ball and threw it at the 3. It exploded, sending the 3 out of the arena. Brawly felt something behind him and quickly turned around to see a beam of energy coming from the metal warrior. He pulled his head back and yelled, which sent a green energy wave toward the warrior, which was bad for him because the other warriors were behind him. An explosion shook the arena, and the 2 warriors quickly landed by their Kai and God. The Kai of Universe yelled, "En Nani, he killed 7 of you at once." "Wow, that was great." Zeno was happy and had written down the names of the fighters. Naruto dodged an attack from behind and kicked his opponents to the left and right, sending them back. He charged at one Bergamo and threw a barrage of punches at it. He also hit it in the nose with a spinning back elbow, which stunned the wolf warrior, who was then pushed back by a front kick. Naruto dodged a red ki blast from Basil, who sent out a barrage of them. While the Saiyan shinobi kept doing this, Lavender came charging in as he too dodged the ki attacks but was also attacking him, but he kept backflipping and dodging the blows. Naruto turned around and shot two of them with ki, hurting them. The three brothers quickly got together, but were getting close to the edge of the arena. "I'm sorry, but this is the end." Naruto got in his stance and made his signature move, which was a crackle of white lightning. They said, "We won't lose." As they charged up and used their signature move. Triangle Danger Beam. The Saiyan was hit by 3 waves of different colors. Naruto grew stronger and reached his second form. Majestic Spiral Wave. He shouted as a huge spiral wave of white energy easily destroyed the opponent's attack and headed straight for the brother, who couldn't do anything as an explosion shook the place and filled it with smoke that went away. The 3 brothers came out of the sky and hit the ground with a hard thud. Everyone from Universe 9 was shocked. It can't be. The Kai was shocked and horrified because he knew what this means. All warriors from Universe 9 have quit, the Grand Priest said, so Universe 9 will be wiped out. This stopped everyone in the middle of their fight. Zeno-sama. The Kai put out a hand to beg. Hi. Squish. Zeno yelled as he threw up a hand that was lit up brightly. Soon, everyone from Universe 9 except the angel had disappeared, never to be seen again. Naruto couldn't believe what he was seeing, and he could tell that Goku and the rest of his team felt the same way. Even Vegeta was shocked by what had happened. Hagora asked his mother in a solemn voice, "Mother, is Universe 9 really gone?" "I'm afraid so, my son," Kaguya said with no emotion on her face. Naruto saw Goku, and Goku saw him. When they both saw the destruction of Universe 9, they were reminded of what would happen if they lost. Still in his form, Naruto took his fighting stance, and he and Goku faced off as the battle continued.
So that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel for more awesome stories like this. Thank you. See you all in my next video.